what has happened in this particular day and even the days around today. And our reporters have been up and about interacting with different issues and different people, and they have brought you different stories. Here are the top ones. And students with disabilities urged to develop their skills as KU celebrates its 14th Disability Awareness Day. Alright, Evans Odhiambo joins us in the sign language interpretation tonight. My name is Mutegi K. Martin. Welcome to the broadcast. Now, murder convict Joseph Irungu, commonly known as Joey, has filed a notice of appeal against the High Court ruling that sentenced him to death in prison for the murder of businesswoman Monica Kimani in 2018 at her Lamuria Garden apartments. The notice seen indicates that Joey intends to challenge his conviction for the murder and subsequent sentencing by Lady Justice Grace Nzioka. On the 9th of February this year, the High Court found Joey guilty of murder, with the court sentencing Joey later on. The then second accused, Jackie Maribe, was acquitted of the murder charges as the court ruled that murder was not the right charge for her. And various leaders in the government today joined their counterparts in the opposition in a fellowship with the Nairobi business community. While speaking at that particular event that was held in Nyamakema, Nairobi, the Governor Sakaja promised businesses owners that he is working towards improving the working environment.
Several roads in Nairobi were closed today to allow facilitation of Nairobi Business Committee Thanksgiving prayers. While speaking at the event in Nyamakima area, Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka noted that the opposition needs to put in much efforts to steer the nation in the right direction.
Future president. Ukasema Ndindi ni mmoja wao, Sakaja ni mmoja wao. Si hawa ni ndugu zangu ndogo. Ngoja Kalonzo kwanza aendelee. I'm quite sure they can afford. We have some business to do. We have the business ya kuimarisha Kenya hii to make it a respectable nation and to be able to play the role of a very effective opposition.
Nairobi Governor Sakaja acknowledged the harsh conditions in which Nairobi business owners have been working in. Sakaja added that despite that, Nairobi businesses are the top contributors in the revenue collected. He has vowed to provide a more friendly working environment, including the removal of rogue county officials who have been harassing them.
We will do whatever it takes to enable your businesses, to give you a proper working environment, na kuhakikisha ya kwamba mambo imekuwa sawa. Nimesikia vile viongozi wamesema, including viongozi wetu ambao wako kwa upinzani. It is true, things had been difficult as we had received them. But everybody can attest today, shilingi inakuwa imara, saizi shilingi inapelekana na dola, saizi mafuta jana imeshuka shilingi 5.
Kiharu MP, who is also the chairman of the budget committee, said that the Kenyan shilling has stood against the dollar and that the government has plans to reduce the number of imports so that Kenyans can consume locally produced goods.
Na mimi nashukuru sana kwa zile policies ambazo tumeongozwa na rais wetu kuweka. Tumeweza kuona ya kwamba shilingi ya Kenya inazozana na ya US na saa zingine ya US inaaguka chini. Iko bidhaa mingi tunaweza kuza hapa ambazo tunatoa nje. Na hizo sana sana ukiangalia maneno ya chakula, edible oils is the #1 import in the Republic of Kenya.
On his part, DAP-K leader Eugene Wamalwa stated that business owners and Kenyans at large are facing harsh economic times due to the increase in taxes despite earnings remaining stagnant. He has urged UDA leaders to take the Kenyan's plea to the president so as to reconsider the increase in taxes.
Iko kitu imefinya hawa na biashara, imefinya wakulima na Wakenya wengi. Na hiyo ni mambo ya ushuru. Ushuru uko juu, na ukiwa juu mzigo ukiwa kwa wanabiashara, ukiwa kwa wakulima, mapato yao yanakuwa madogo. Na hayo yakiwa madogo, maisha yanakuwa magumu. So tunaomba Bwana Nyoro akienda, sababu the budget policy statement inaonyesha ya kwamba finance bill inayokuja 2024 itaongeza ushuru zaidi.
Youths have been warned against disrupting prayer sessions by being rowdy and disruptive, while business owners have been urged to venture in manufacturing so as to maximize profits. Gracious Aganda, KUTV.
And President Ruto, during his second and last day of his tour to Kericho County, stood firm on his ground to protect the forest cover in the country, stating that action will be taken against anyone found encroaching forest land. Ruto's sentiments came when a crowd he was addressing made requests to be allowed to farm in the surrounding forest. Ruto made it clear that forests must be left undisturbed.
Ati mnataka kufanya nini kwa forest? Mnataka kufanya nini? Mnataka kukata miti? Mnataka nini? Ng'ombe. Ng'ombe ifanye nini? Lakini sasa nyinyi, hata nyinyi mko na maneno. Lakini sasa mimi nasikia wale wanapeleka ng'ombe wanaenda na shoka. Ati saa ile ng'ombe inakula nyasi, huyu naye anakata miti. Sasa mnafikiri nitakubali hiyo maneno kweli? Ati kwani kuna ng'ombe inachungwa na shoka? Hapana. Mpaka mnihakikishie kwamba hii watu hawaendi na shoka. Lakini bure hapana, siwezi kubali. Kwa sababu siwezi, unajua sasa dunia inabadilika. Nyinyi mmesikia climate change. Karibu hii ukame itumalize hiyo mwaka ingine. Na ni kwa sababu ya kuharibu mazingira. Hakuna vile tunaweza kuendelea kuharibu mazingira.
Kenyatta University has today celebrated its 14th Disability Awareness Day. During the event, students with disabilities at Kenyatta University have been encouraged to work hard in their education as well as develop their skills and talents, as this will pave way for their employment.
The Kenyatta University's 14th Disability Awareness Day took place today, bringing together various stakeholders in matters education, employment, and even advocacy on rights to persons with disabilities under the theme Inclusive Education for Economic Success.
I wish to extend a very warm welcome to all of you attending the 14th Kenyatta University Disability Awareness Day under the theme Empowering People with Disabilities Through Inclusive Higher Education for Economic Success. From this theme, our mission is clear: to see how to break down the barriers that hinder access to quality education for individuals with disabilities, particularly in higher education.
Siku hii ni siku ya kutoa fursa kwetu sote ya kwamba tunastahili kuwa hapa ili tupate fursa murwa na suluhu ya kudumu katika kushirikiana na kushikamana.
Deputy Vice Chancellor for Research and Innovation at Kenyatta University, Professor Caroline Dhorua, who spoke on behalf of the Kenyatta University Vice Chancellor, Professor Paul Wainaina, pointed out that the institution is putting efforts to ensure that students with disabilities get quality education.
It's a stark reminder that we have urgent work to do, and now, more than ever before, the university's continued commitment to inclusive higher education is required in order to fulfill the promise enshrined in one of our core values, creating an inclusive society. For now, I'd like to turn our focus to one fundamental aspect: demolishing educational walls in higher education. Imagine a university where every lecture hall, library, and laboratory is accessible to all students and lecturers, regardless of their disability. This is not just an idealistic vision, it is a tangible reality we must strive to achieve. By implementing adaptable pedagogy, we can ensure that students with disabilities have equal access to the curriculum and that lecturers with disabilities can enjoy their work in the lecture halls just as their peers without disabilities do.
Masimogure, a board member of the National Council of Persons with Disabilities, pointed out that it is important for disabled persons to know their rights.
I am happy to say, as I sit at the National Council representing women with disabilities, we are making those policies, and by the end of this year, we will have the disability policy, the national disability policy. And as we put these policies, it is our responsibility for us to know what policies are there for us, to know what our rights. Do I know what's them? Even as I apply for this job, in our country, we the Disability Act, together with Article 54 of the Constitution, requires that we be given 5% of job opportunities in the public sector and the private sector.
At the same time, students with disabilities have been encouraged to embrace their skills, as it will enable them secure job opportunities in the country despite of their physical appearances.
The university is willing to employ 10% of us. But then, if all what you present is, on your CV, I have a disability, it is not enough. It is more than people are looking for other skills beyond your degree. What are you doing with your free time? What other certified skills in the markets? AI is here with us, the artificial intelligence. What are you harnessing? You have all the resources, internet and others. I am challenging us, the students, make best use of the time that you have here. Utilize it, make yourself marketable.
And part of what I call packaging oneself is marketing your own abilities, not disabilities. Are we together there? Marketing your abilities and not disabilities. Disability will help you where it is clear that you have the abilities. You don't have to say, I'm this, help me. Just say what you can do.
Kenyatta University has been mentioned as one of the best institutions which caters for students with disabilities. Dorothy Musyoka, KUTV.
Thank you, Dorothy Musyoka, for that wonderful report. We now take a very short break here on KUTV Primetime News. We come back with more.
They are powerful and influential. They make decisions in politics, education, finance, agriculture, health, sports, and all aspects of human life. But the impact of their decisions falls on you, the common citizen. KUTV Primetime News Thursday, we ask bold questions and pursue answers to the core to bring you closer to the story. We couldn't have it any other way. Join me, Auma Evans, as I raise matters of social concern to raise your voice from the background to the foreground. Every Thursday and Saturday at 9 p.m. only on KUTV.
Back, let's continue. The Kenya National Union of Teachers, that is NAT, has sounded a dire warning regarding the state of the education sector, citing a failure by the government to release essential capitation fees. According to NAT, this has plunged schools into financial crisis, with several schools being unable to operate effectively. NAT Secretary General, that is Collins Oyu, who was speaking in Naivasha during a press meeting, expressed his concerns, stating that the situation was quote-unquote pathetic, with schools struggling to function due to the non-release of funds promised by the government. So far, only 25% of the expected 50% capitation fees for the first term have been disbursed.
Even now as I speak, the heads have rebelled. The principals have rebelled. You cannot keep on students in school while they're hungry. So they said these learners must go back home. And that is contrary to the policy that we have in this country. All learners must be in school. We want to appeal to the government. Can we check on timely capitation to our schools so that learners remain in school?
And a group of young environmentalists from Makema Ward in Mbere Sub-County, Embu County, marked this year's International Day of Action for Rivers by conducting a cleanup exercise of the shores of the Kamburu Dam that is situated within Mwea Game Reserve. March 14th is dedicated to saving, cleaning, and creating awareness about the importance of rivers.
A group of vibrant youth under the umbrella of Activista movement, together with a section of game wardens in Mbere Sub-County, Embu, spent the day sprucing up the Kamburu Dam shoreline, collecting and burning floating waste and litter left strewn along the shores of the dam by visitors, a move to celebrate the International Day of Action for Rivers. The dam is a popular camping site for tourists visiting the game reserve.
Very nice, very nice, very nice.
According to the United Nations, the amount of plastic entering the aquatic environment annually ranges from 19 to 23 million tons. The group leader, Teresa Musyoka, said the cleanup was part of their contribution in tackling pollution of rivers and dams in protection of aquatic life, adding that plastic waste was the major contributor of the pollution within the dam and has the potential of suffocating and killing wild animals that a major heritage and income earner in the area.
Kama huu mto tunajua wanyama wengi wanakujanga kukunywa maji hapa, na kama hao wanyama wa kichakani ni kama wale wa nyumbani. Wakipatana na hizo vitu za plastic wanazikula na zinaweza kusababisha hata vifo za wanyama. Unapata hii game reserve wanyama wanapungua juu ya vifo zinazoletwa na maplastics wakizikula. Na pengine pia hata hii maji si safe kwa kukunywa juu zile mauchafu ziko huko ni nyingi sana, na inafaa ikuwe ni maji yenye watu wanaweza kuchota na ikuwe ni safe bando kwa kukunywa.
Boniface Musyoka, a member of the group, called on farmers neighboring the dam to properly dispose bottles of used chemicals so that they may not end up being washed into the dam.
Kwa mfano katika wananchi wengine mahali popote atakao tuona katika runinga Kenya mzima. Pia ningehimiza wale watu wanaolima karibu na mto, hizo mikebe mnazotumia kuweka dawa mkuwe mnatupa mahali pazuri ama mnachimbia huko chini, ndo tusafishe hii mazingira yetu juu tunahitaji leo, kesho na siku zijazo.
Another member of the group added that visitors coming to the camp needed a cool breeze and therefore challenged residents to keep the surrounding area tidy.
Kwa hivyo tumesafisha na imekuwa siku mzuri, na ningesisitiza pia tuweze kuobserve usafi wa mito yetu, tuache kutupa takataka.
Mwea Game Reserve, measuring 42 square kilometers, is home to a significant number of wild animals including elephants, zebras, giraffes, buffaloes and gazelles. Theo Masharia for KUTV News.
Gatanga Member of Parliament Edward Murio has called for the amendment of laws that introduce taxes on agricultural produce, saying that the said taxes have been proven to be a burden to farmers. Meanwhile, in Garissa, the County Commissioner Mohamed Mabudzo has warned contractors in the county against delayed government projects, saying that they will face dire consequences, including blacklisting by the government.
Speaking during the opening of a two-day Kilimo Expo organized by the Kenya Agricultural Livestock and Research Organization KALRO at the Seeds headquarters in Gatanga, Murang'a County, Gatanga Member of Parliament Edward Morio has asked for the review and amendment of the laws that introduce taxes on agricultural produce, saying that the taxes pose a significant burden to farmers.
From where I sit as a Member of Parliament and also where I sit as a lawyer, that's a good law because number one, it's a law which want to make sure that everything is digitized. That's in terms of the spirit of the law is the way it's supposed to be. However, every rule has an exception. The farmers need to be an exception, and I think in the process of making that law, and that's what we have even proposed in the coming supplementary budget. That's what we have proposed in the coming finance bill. There need to be what you call a threshold. It's not everybody who needs to file e-teams.
Meanwhile, the Garissa County Commissioner Mohamed Mabudzo has warned the contractors in the county against delaying the progress of public projects, saying that they will be blacklisted. Mabudzo, who was leading a team of County Development Implementation Coordination Committee, says that the contractors must give the government value for the taxpayers' money and that unnecessary delay of projects will not be tolerated.
We are putting all the contractors of what initiative on notice. We want value for money from all the contractors. If any contractor continues doing work which is substandard, those contractors will be blacklisted. This government is very serious on the construction work, and we would like the contractors to try their level best and finish their project within the contract period.
Finally, while speaking during the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship UUF Labels Fashion Show and Wedding Exhibition at the Oswald Center, Nairobi, the Second Lady Pastor Dorcas Rigathi has encouraged young creatives and those who have invested in the creative industry to exploit their potential, which supports economic growth to spur job creation.
The creative industry has a great potential that is endless. It is like a vast sea, unlimited space that can employ millions of our youth. It is able to pull many to self-employment and our only hope to eradicate poverty. I urge all our youth to look into this direction and engage in meaningful economic activities towards a better and a dignified life.
Youths in the country have also been urged to invest in the fashion sector and engage in meaningful economic activities towards building better lives.
All right, 35 minutes past the top of the hour. We take another short break right here on Kutv Primetime News. We'll be back with more stories. Keep it here.
Where we ask the coolest questions in science. Let's go! Is yogurt really just rotten milk? Why do humans need sharks to survive? How did a 12-year-old boy from Africa invent modern vanilla farming? How do you deliver medicine to a chimpanzee? Can poop be useful? How can you save the planet by reducing air pollution? To help us answer these questions, we are inviting some wonderful guests from the world of science. They will enlighten you, make you hungry for knowledge, oxygenate your brain, and make your ideas flow. This is Engine Season 3. Let's go!
Get ready to kickstart your day with the most exciting morning show around. Tune in to our dynamic and entertaining program where we keep you informed, engaged, and entertained from the moment you wake up.
From breaking news and current events to music, fun, and out of the ordinary stories, we've got you covered with a mix of interviews, games, and special segments. You never know what's in store.
Join us every Monday morning
and Tuesday morning
for a fun and fascinating way to start your day.
Don't miss out on the action.
Tune in now and experience the excitement for yourself.
Only on KUTV Rise Today from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m.
Start your day
with us.
Right, we welcome back to this particular bulletin. As we continue, I think we have to take a few stories before we go to the sports news. So let's go to Malawi. And Malawi has embarked on trials of genetically modified maize focused on curbing hunger and pests such as armyworms and caterpillars. Now, the trials come despite concerns of possible effects that genetically modified organisms, that is GMOs, have on health and environment. For VOA, reporter Lamek Masina filed this particular report from Malawi's capital, Lilongwe.
The fall armyworm has caused devastating crop losses across Africa since it arrived in 2016 in Malawi at Lilongwe University of Agriculture and Natural Resources. Biotechnology research scientist Kingdom Kwapata is leading studies into varieties of maize whose genes have been modified to resist the pest. Such engineered crops are considered genetically modified organisms or GMOs.
We needed a solution because our farmers are suffering. Our main purpose and aim for the research is to establish whether the gene that confers resistance against fall armyworms and other lepidopteran insects is effective.
The trials are expected to take about 5 years. They are conducted in a fenced and confined maize field 500 meters away from any traditional crop to avoid possible contamination with the traditional varieties. In the meantime, lawmakers, traditional leaders, and farmers have visited the trial site to observe its progress. Some farmers are excited about the trial, which is in its first year.
This will solve the problems of lack of money to buy pesticides to kill fall armyworms, which have affected my maize harvest for many years. And I am now a happy farmer because these trials are providing solutions to the problem.
Another subsistence farmer, Esther Ganjawala, is skeptical about the technology. She notes that replacing local maize varieties with high-yielding hybrids has created new troubles.
These new varieties are not good at all. You can't harvest anything without applying fertilizers, and they are easily attacked by pests. That's why there is growing poverty. But with our local varieties, we can harvest even without applying fertilizers.
Researcher Kwapata says genetically modified crops have been introduced safely elsewhere, including the United States, Brazil, and Argentina. But many in Malawi are concerned about possible health and environmental impacts.
So even though the target is to make sure the stalk borer doesn't attack the maize or the armyworms, but actually the introduction of this GMO will affect other beneficial insects such as bees and other birds. So that is something that we don't want. We don't want to disturb that cycle.
Ghania also fears that once introduced to farmers, the GMO maize would keep other local crops from growing. Kwapata says there is no evidence that would happen, but he acknowledges that people are concerned.
There's a lot of skepticism. There's a lot of political anxiety. But in the final analysis, as researchers, we are saying that the nation needs to give us a chance to do the research diligently, independently, without due influence.
Kwapata says the researchers will present the results of the trials only to government authorities so they can decide whether the GMO maize should be introduced in Malawi. Lamek Masina, VOA News, Lilongwe, Malawi.
And Aisha Ndoye, a female surgeon who practices in Bordeaux, France, sings to her patients to reduce their anxiety. A practice she says started out of desperation after a patient in pain could not fall asleep. VOA's Healthy Living details her story.
The operating room with its pale lights contrasts with the warm and captivating voice of Aisha Ndoye, covering Whitney Houston. The French surgeon who soothes the patients she operates on leads a double life as a doctor and singer.
The first time I sang, I was still an intern. I was still a student, and I really sang in a moment of desperation when we couldn't get a patient to go to sleep because she was totally agitated and wouldn't let herself be perfused. And so I was washing my hands and I thought, maybe I'd try something. The last option we had was for me to sing. Well, I sang to the patient, which kind of captured her attention, so I was able to infuse her at the same time and put her to sleep. And since then, I've made it an integral part of my work.
At 34, Ndoye, a gynecological surgeon specializing in oncology, released her first album with two other colleagues. The trio, Les Soignantes, reached the semi-final of France Has Incredible Talent.
There's a purpose behind it. It's not just singing. It's not a concert. For me, it's therapeutic, and they understand that. And they're now all very, very happy to see me sing.
Lucie Deneau, an operating theater nurse, says a person who sleeps peacefully wakes up more gently, and the body requires less anesthesia.
It's relaxing, but it's not only relaxing for the patients. It's also relaxing for the general atmosphere in the operating theater. It's not just the music you can hear, it's really the voice of a surgeon with her patients. And it's very powerful in human terms. It even moves us to tears at times.
Welcome back. This is Sports News. And Football Kenya Federation, that is FKF, delegates have cautioned non-members to keep off the federation's annual general meeting slated for Saturday at the Kenya Institute of Special Education, KISE, at Kasarani, Nairobi. The 76 delegates drawn across various leagues in the country said that they are aware of plans set to disrupt the delegates' meeting. The sentiment comes against the backdrop of FKF's refusal to accept Hussein Mohammed to represent Murang'a Seal in the upcoming FKF annual general meeting, insisting that he is neither a member of Murang'a Seal nor FKF.
As clubs, we will not allow any member knowingly or unknowingly to disrespect the FKF constitution.
Most important is that clubs and members must adhere to Article 8.14. And what does that say? Owners, officials of clubs shall be as indicated in the club's register filed with the federation. If a club is to represent someone who's not registered with the federation as their official or as a member, do they have any business wanting to be part of the AGM? I'll leave that question to you. And what we are saying as KPL clubs is that we must at all times comply to those two articles.
Minutes to the top of the hour, we come to the close of the conversation for tonight. And as usual, we don't close down the station after news. KTV is always a new experience, and you're in the right place and in the right time for educative and informative programs that continue to run here on KTV, a new experience. And until next time, I want to take this time to thank you so much for watching this particular bulletin tonight and staying tuned and put to be informed on what's happening in the country and beyond. A big shout out to the head of the news, Laban Shaban, and the whole team that put this news together for us to be able to know what's happening within our boundaries and beyond our boundaries. A big shout out to my director, Bonnie Othiambo, and Levis Ndomoto on the technical, together with Franklin Indenje, and my producer, Yvonne Kemuma. This work would not have been the same without your efforts. Dohio and Jerry with the graphics, making sure that you get to read what exactly we are talking about. It's a pleasure being in the company of very talented people and skilled people to make sure that we actually get to put this together into one fantastic piece. Until next time, my sign language interpreter is right here. His name is Evans Othiambo, and I'm sure he's signing that with the language that he knows best. My name is Mutegi K. Martin, and until next time, have a wonderful evening, have a wonderful weekend. See you soon.
Are you an aspiring media practitioner, a graduate, or you just want to advance your skills in television production? Then welcome to Kenyatta University, where education meets innovation. KUTV, the premier university television station in Kenya, is now offering short courses in TV studio, field technical operations, and video editing. Through these courses, you will acquire hands-on skills on camera operation,